This video is about a despicable white lion demigod, right? Despicable white lion demigod. I don't know whatever incarnation is why there can never be a white god, right? Right? This video is about why there can never be a white messiah or white god, right? There can never be at any time and on this earth that we live in, right? Any white god that incarnate, right? You know for a fact is a false god or a false prophet, right? Once you're white on this earth that we live in, right? Once you are white, right? There could be no white messiah. There could be no white savior, right? Is about a despicable, lying, untrue, false white god, right? False white god, right? The god at which, right? Denial, right? Denial is at the forefront of that. Denial of everything and everybody. Denial of the efforts of everything and everybody, right? And only focus on the self, himself, right? That's what this white, despicable lion god, right? Demigod on earth is about, right? Is about denial and denial of everybody efforts, everybody prayer, right? Everybody efforts, everybody jobs, right? The denial is at the heart, right, of this lion white despicable god, right? Ain't nobody, right? Ain't no white God, right? Could ever exist, right? Ain't no white God, right? This is our message that the whole earth. Ain't no white person, right? Could exist on this earth and call itself God, right? There is no white Messiah. There is no white person that could exist on this earth and refer to themselves as God, right? Denial is at the heart, right, of this despicable white false God, false prophet, false God, right? What these people do, right? The colored people, right? Roman Catholics, what these people do, the kind of manipulation these people know of and what they do, right? The colored people is unimaginable. Unimaginable. I am here, right? Apologizing on behalf of that despicable white lion god, right? I am here, right? Making videos apologizing on behalf of that despicable white lion god, right? Because he have too much ego to do it, because of too much pride to do it, right? Hindu people sustain that white despicable lion god, right? Muslim people sustain that despicable white lion god. Christian people sustain that despicable white lion god, right? And he have the audacity to deny every single one of them the employment, the thinking, the livelihoods, everything, right? Everything. When I sit down and think about it, and I can't believe myself that I actually saw that person as a former god, right? At some point, a few years ago, I actually was seeing this person. And when I think about it, hey, how could I ever, right, see this individual as anything godlike, right? How could I see this person as anything godlike? Right? Just like how my mother does always tell me, "Hey, girl, you're cussing and getting on video. Which god is going like that? Or which who is going like that?" Right? I not even talking about this individual cussing. Right? I talking about the nature of his work itself. Right? The nature of his work and his inability to come and apologize and say, "Hey, I was wrong about this. Hey, I was wrong about that. Hey, I was wrong about this." The inability to apologize, right? Or the inability to value and recognize people, right? That is what I refer to. I not even referring to the fact that I cuss because I discuss to everybody discuss. That is small thing. I referring to the inability of that person to communicate, the inability of that person to come and say, hey, come on and say, hey, I was wrong about this. Because you still believe you're right. You still believe you're right. Right? And I can't believe that I could see somebody as a God who can't even come and say, hey, I'm sorry, I was wrong about this piece of knowledge, or I was wrong about treating people in that way. How I can't see somebody as a god, or I can't treat somebody as a god if that's how they just think. Right? Their ego and their narcissism is so fucking high. Right? I can never see somebody like that as a god. Right? Never. Right? And I can't believe I did watch this person and be like, oh, hey, wait, I actually I appreciated this person. I appreciate this person work all that. Right now, all of that, I feel like all of that just like it just dissipate, right? It's just like a disappointment, right? And that's my fault, because I'm not supposed to be seeing nobody like in a god like we. I'm not supposed to be idolizing anybody like that. So I take responsibility for that on my end, right? Because I'm not supposed to really be in my line or my vision. Right? I'm not supposed to be idolizing nobody like that. But I happen to had idolized that person in a way that I didn't idolize nobody else, right? Before even knowing that there was actual idol, right? And then the next fact is that that person threw me to war, right? That is the sad part about it. Like, and that's why I'm saying these people, like, they won't even reach out and say, hey, Vijaya, how you going, right? But they will do all kind of spiritual woo, right? To throw you to war, right? This is what I don't understand, right? You wouldn't even send a text on WhatsApp, Vijaya, how you going? Right? Vijaya, how you going? Vijaya, right? How you going? Right? You wouldn't even send a text message like that, right? You wouldn't even give a phone call. But you're doing all kind of spiritual woo, right? To throw me to war. To war who for what? To war what? To war what again? It have nothing to war anymore, right? The war is over and it have nothing to war anymore, right? And you are over in particular, right? Now it feeling like, you know how it feeling, right? It feeling like principles even gone to the ground. Like principles is our waste now. That's how it feeling like. Earth just feeling completely pointless, right? Because of how certain things played out and how certain things playing out. I actually feel like Earth is actually extremely pointless, right? And even principle it feeling like, and I saw a video the other day, but fuck your morals, right? A video with a guy was like, fuck your morals, a white fella. He was like, fuck your morals. And I actually started to feel that way, but I don't think I would ever go down to that level and feel that way. Because I still have morality in me, right? I still respect morality, right? Even if I don't respect a person, right? Even if I lost respect for a person, I still have respect for morality, right? And for the principle of morality and for the principles that govern moral behavior and all that, right? So I could just fuck away with you as a person, to be honest, right? Because of what you do, because of what you do to me, right? I don't naturally fuck away with people. I would only fleck away with you in response to what you do to me, right? And that because flecking away with a person is not in my natural character. I just respond, right, to how people behave towards me. So you treat me in a particular way, will fleck you, right? But my morality, they stand regardless. Like them kind of thing when go on, and this is where people just get tripped up with me because them kind of thing when push me to go and eat meat, right? That all of that going on, and it a push me to eat meat even though I just feel to eat it, right? It a pushing me to go and drink every day, even if I just feel to do it, right? And that is what I kind of here to guide people on that journey, right? That warrior journey, right? That building a mental journey, right? Because the way that the world breaking down right now, it was also trying to break you down, right? The way that the world going right now, right? It not the world not only collapsing, but it feeling to some people as if the mind collapsing, right? And the heart collapsing and the strength collapsing, right? Because the world collapsing and we collapsing with the world, right? So that's really the journey I here to help to sustain people, right? On that journey when it feeling like the world collapsing on you, right? The world collapsing and your mind collapsing and your spirit collapsing, right? To say, hey, well, you had to keep on track with this. You had to keep on track with this particular behavior. You had to keep on track with this behavior, right? So even though somebody might tell you something, right, and it could hurt you, right? Somebody make a video, somebody tell you something in person, you see a video online, and it hurting your heart, and it breaking your heart, right? And it feeling like you have no other way to turn it and nothing else to do, right? You have to stay. You have to stay the course, right? You had to stay the course. You had to stay on your path. You had to stay, you had to maintain that, right? You had to develop your will. In this time, and you had to develop your will so that anything anybody tell you, right, it just going through one year, coming out the next year, right? Anything somebody had to say to you, right? You could just like roll off that, right? Like how that drop of water is roll off the dashing bush leaf, right? That is the will you had to develop in this time, and right, to get through them kind of situations, right? And that's why I really making all of these videos is to help. Hey, if I help one person on that journey, right? I help one person, I help one person, I help one person, right? To develop the mental will, right? Willpower, right? Helping you to develop and helping me to develop willpower, right? To move through a collapsing world, right? Walk straight through a collapsing world, right? The world collapsing and you just walking straight, right? You're looking left, you're looking right, right? The world collapsing and you just walking straight. Head turning left, head turning right. That's what you had to do, right? You keep on your path. A business but was on the left, a business was on the right, right? You're straight, right? You're straight. I just keep being straight, right? Good.